this video, we're going to start talking about rational functions and the different attributes or features of those functions graphically. And then we're going to use all of those attributes and features to sketch a picture of that graph. But first, let's talk about holes and how to find them, or also known as discontinuities. So we're going to take a look at the first function we have here. And what we're going to do is we're going to factor both the top, the numerator, and the bottom, the denominator. I'm going to notice I have a difference of 2 squares in the top, so that factors to x plus 1, x minus 1. And then in the bottom, I'm going to have this quadratic factored to x plus 3 and x minus 1. All right, and now you'll notice something, hopefully, that both the numerator and the denominator have a factor that is the same. And normally we would say, okay, well, we can turn those into a 1 and not write that, and we just have x plus 1 or x plus 3. But when we talk about rational functions, that plays a very important part in what that function looks like, and namely, that's going to be the hole or the discontinuity. So I'm going to take those two factors that match up in both the numerator and the denominator, set that equal to 0, and I would solve that to get x equals 1. So what I know now is I have a hole or discontinuity when x equals 1. The one thing we don't know is what is my y value that would be associated with that x. So what I'm going to do is, since both of these factors would be a 1 anyway, I don't have to worry about plugging my 1 back into that x. So if I plug in a 1 right here, I would have x 1 plus 1, which is 2, and then I would have 1 plus 3, which is 4. That fraction would reduce to a 1/2. So here, my hole, or my discontinuity, would appear at 1 x value and 1/2 for my y value. So those are my coordinates for my hole or discontinuity. All right, so now here's an example. I want you to pause that video, try it yourself, and then we'll come back and work it. Alright, so we're going to start off the same way. We're going to factor both the top and the bottom, and I have x minus 3, x plus 2 in my numerator. Then I'm going to factor my denominator. I see it's a difference of 2 squares, so I got x minus 2, x plus 2. Then I'm going to find the match where I have both the same factor in the numerator and denominator. See, that's x plus 2. Set that equal to 0, solve that for x, and find that my hole, the x value, is at x negative 2. Alright, so if I know my x value is at negative 2, I can then use this to plug it in for both of these x's. Okay, we'll do a little side work over here. So I have negative 2 minus 3, or negative 2 minus 2. So what we get here is we get negative 5 over negative 4, which would be just a positive 5 over 4. So that would be my hole or discontinuity for this particular example. Okay, so just to recap, what we do is we factor both the numerator and denominator, find the matching set of factors that appear both in the numerator and denominator, set that equal to 0, solve for my x value, then that gives me the x value for my coordinate for where my hole or discontinuity is. I plug those back into my original function, and that will give me the y value where my hole or discontinuity occurs. Hope this video helps, and we'll see you in the next one.